My type of woman is a bit specific, slightly sad, a combination of distinctiveness and mediocrity. She can look okay and be cute, but in that way where you appreciate it more once you get used to her face and gestures rather than stunning you right away. Women who are too beautiful and happy don't have the ability to truly love. They love themselves too much. I know how sexist this sounds, what a generalization, but when looking for a partner, we all rely on assumptions and generalizations, avoiding the red flags. I, however, don't have to. I see exactly what a woman thinks, her fantasies, needs, and feelings, and it's not that I'm particularly seeking out a type, it's just that when I look back, they form one. Superficial differences are quite big. There are so many ways a person can be mediocre. Mediocrity is often misunderstood, seen as some grayness without any strong drives or emotions, no imagination, as a certain typical lifestyle, intellectual limitations. But that's not saying much, and it's often inaccurate. Mediocrity can come with many quirky details, often exaggerated. Idiosyncrasies, solid intelligence, and self-awareness. Mediocrity paints its face in many different colors and dreams of being seen as great. Well, how many of us can do grand things? And what are grand things or grand discoveries today anyway? Or feel grand emotions, that's usually just mental illness. Or live a grand life, which in the collective imagination of the world usually amounts to getting attention. I don't care about details. They were all good women, but they all had some flaw, and this flaw made them a little bit sad. And that sadness made them a little bit lonely, which is why they dreamed of love that would finally give them some validation and meaning, that will elevate them through someone else's eyes. My type are romantics, women with a fantasy world. A woman who dreams of true love means more to me than some model I might be able to seduce for a short while and then try my hardest to keep her attention. Because I also have the need for love, true romantic love. As of lately, I've been dating Eva. Eva was a little bit sad when I met her. Eva looks okay, pleasant but slightly stern face of a daycare teacher she tries to contrast with numerous bright-colored tattoos, although the two seem to go hand in hand somehow. She's a touch overweight, which occasionally crosses over into mild obesity. She also smokes, but she reached the point in her life where she decided she can live with it and isn't in the mood for constant diets and attempts to stop smoking. Good for her. Eva likes certain comforts, and her company is comfortable. She knows how to host a get-together. She isn't some master chef, but she knows what's tasty in that simple and decadent way. She will treat her guests with wine, cheeses, put on a good show, make a cup of mocha with whipping cream. She likes giving herself small rewards and small consolations because she's a little bit sad. And all she wants is someone who will enjoy these little things with her, with whom she can share this comfortable life. Sometimes she's just not in the mood. She's not in the mood for complications, discipline, torture, running around, forcing outcomes. And she knows how to make the most out of coffee and cigarettes, ordering some fandom merch, having girls over for drinks. Eva is well off. She has her own successful small business, which, truth be told, she inherited, but runs competently. She has a good work-life balance, makes a fine living, and inherited enough to get a nice townhouse. She equipped it and decorated it tremendously well. A geek's dream house with good understanding of materials and quality. She designed her whole life quite well. She does her job, relaxes, attends therapy, works on a book, gives herself little treats, and meets up with girls for drinks. They laugh, talk, and drink. But the sadness never fully leaves. It always waits somewhere there behind some curtain, in some corner, waiting for everyone to go. Then it comes out and gently but firmly tugs at her sleeve. "I'm here," it says. "Let's go." She had a few relationships. One was a bit abusive, which is a common thread in many of my type's histories and women in general. The second one, her longest one, ended up in a pretty underwhelming way. No big dramas. He just never ended up quite falling in love with her. She was too mature and too mentally stable to expect him to. She was fine with an average-sized love and a healthy, coordinated relationship dynamics, mutual interests and goals. And it was fine until, despite all that, the boredom and alienation didn't become too great. She ended it, but he was the one who checked out first, without any greater resentment. The breakup was civil. Perhaps she was hoping it would provoke some stronger emotion in him. But it didn't. He accepted it. 2 months later, he started dating a mutual friend. The friend, of course, first had a mature, mentally stable conversation with Eva about it, and Eva couldn't possibly think of a mature, mentally stable reason to object. She didn't suffer or miss him much, but she was a bit sad. Yes, she sees a therapist. She has a touch of depression and anxiety. Maybe she always did even as a child. Maybe that is the cause of all her little past failures. But now she can explain them. She has all the words to calmly explain why she doesn't feel like doing things sometimes with the daycare teacher intonation she by now turned into an art form. The way I'm describing her, Eva, might not sound like a romantic, but you'd be completely wrong. To me, her hopes and dreams were so clear that I could touch them. I saw exactly what it was she was missing and how to give it to her. Eva is now happy and in love. She never thought it would happen to her. She has some energy about her now, which she never had before. It's beautiful, really. She had been blossoming since we met, and it didn't take any manipulation, no lies. I'm not using her for anything she doesn't want to give herself. This is the part that also fills me with incredible joy. There's no trick involved. I'm an attractive guy, attractive in a way that resonates with her, a way that goes beyond what she simply finds acceptable. I hear her, she interests me, I make her laugh. I bring small surprises into her life, nothing crazy that would throw her off the rails, as that would make her pull back and scare her. Things she likes, for example, an exceptional wine instead of an ordinary one, a reservation at a gourmet restaurant. She isn't very experimental with food, but she appreciates safe things done right. Eva loves sex, truly enjoys it, and I enjoy giving her what she needs. Regular sex makes her happy. I also compliment her. Not in a vapid way, which a smart girl like her would never buy, but bit by bit, I show her a different image of herself, the one where she's beautiful, special, and loved. The change is palpable. She dresses better, moves more, eats healthier, her skin became radiant, and she just has an aura of joy she never had before. People notice and comment on it, and it gives her an additional boost, an additional burst of joy. She likes to talk to her friends about me, and I think that's my biggest flaw. I'm simply not available to meet them. Oh, I know how much it would mean to her. Her parents are no longer alive, and this would additionally tie me to her reality, make me more present. She has a slight fear of whether or not I'd be drawn in by Lena, who she says is her best friend, perhaps, not the one who ended up dating her ex. That was Ashley, and they're not close anymore. But still, she wants me to see them. For them to see who's that guy who makes their friends so happy, to brag a bit. She loves her friends, but she also loves to finally be the one who has something special, something beyond even what they have. A dream guy who loves her, who'd make them laugh just like he makes her laugh, who'd have smart debates, charm them, but who only has eyes for her. And I'd give her just that. I wouldn't care how fun and attractive Lena is, how much of the je ne sais quoi she has that pulls so many men in. I'd demonstrate my infatuation with Eva so well that all the girls would say, "You can just see how much he loves her," without it appearing performative. A glance when I think no one is looking, the way I'd laugh at her jokes, a brief touch, showing deep knowledge of her character and past, empathy for all her past pain and injustices she suffered. Unfortunately, that's the one thing I can't give her. I don't need witnesses. and today it's hard enough to avoid being photographed. Luckily, she's not much of a social media person. Well, call it luck or smart selection. Either way, the less others know about me or see me, the more likely it is I won't matter. Maybe some will even think she made up. She's not the type to make shit up, not at all, but then again, she did have an imagination. And it was a rough time for her. Even so, I can't avoid it for too long. It's important to know when to end things. Otherwise, I would morph from the dream man into a shady liar, a guy with excuses and murky past. I don't want to lie to her. She's sleeping next to me and she looks so peaceful and happy. I know she was thinking of our future. But she doesn't know I see that future much better than she does. If I gave into it, the love would last, but what would happen? We'd start living together, maybe marry. She'd likely want a kid. Sure, she'd accept being childless, after all she accepted it before she ever met me, but it would have been a compromise. I'd no longer be her dream man. I'd be great, and that but would grow more. She knows me. When conversations stop being thrilling exchanges of ideas and observations, deep tipsy confessions that bond, and right words in right moments. When conversations start to revolve about what's in the fridge and grocery lists and millions of other practicalities. When she realized I am not only that. She'd still love me, but not as madly as she does now. We have two choices, really. Familiarity and boredom, maybe comfortable boredom, her personality enjoys, but that would turn me into something horrifying. A hubby, a funny, predictable character from a sitcom she'd like living in, a safe, reliable figure, a human version of some old, comfortable slippers. She'd joke about my little flaws and oddities, including ones I was never aware of having, for her just a humorous anecdotes. And our little comforts, mochas, wines, cake, movie marathons, and binge-watching Netflix would really transform me into that guy in time. And as much as I like to pretend the opposite is true, my looks do need some work. She'd learn that herself soon enough, and probably find it adorable and funny. Benign. That's the right word. She'd make me so benign. The thought of it makes me sick. The second option is no better. I'd have to keep taking away her joy so that I can give it to her again. Put her down so that I can keep lifting her up. I'd have to be a monster. There's a third option too. I could leave her. Then something inside her would die for good. The sadness would win. I can see her reacting numbly. I can see her going on about her life, but it would be no good. I could never be so cruel. No, this is our peak. This is her peak. It's important to know when to stop, when you're creating something great. Again, I created something great. I created a grand emotion. Now it needs to be preserved before everything turns to rot. That is why the best future I can give Eva is no future. After all, I am her dream man, the guy who recognized her among all the others, the more beautiful and louder ones, who, with absolute certainty, picked her and thereby revealed she's not an ordinary woman, but a chosen one. And she is. She really is. But I'm not.